Okay, next project you're going to be engaging in is you're going to be creating an actual mini maze. First step in this project, I'm going to actually, let's go to the class site right now so we can pull it up. So I'm going into Video Tech, going into, here's the training part, here's for CAD, here's your first project, and then there's mini maze. So I'm going to click on mini maze training. Inside of mini maze training you have two segments or two parts of this project. The first part is the actual drafting, and that's where you actually draft or draw the mini maze you'd like to build. Right here there's student example 1, so we've put online several examples of previous drafts that students have done. So you have to draw it out prior to actually going ahead and making it in CAD. Then 2, here's another example you can look at. So each one of these examples is based on certain parameters. That's right here in the grade sheet. If you select grade sheet, now in there it tells you the exact specifications, the size of what the base has to be, of what the walls have to be, of what the holes have to be, and in real brief, if you go ahead you can see what the limitations are, such as, and it says it here, so I'm just going to move on. And it also gives what is, if you were to turn this sideways, what is the size of that base supposed to be, which is on the bottom, and on top of that base, there's the base, that's down here, and then there's the walls on top of the base, okay, and the walls, so there's exterior walls and interior walls. There's the base, there's the walls on top of the base, and there's exterior walls, these are the ones on the outside, and then there's interior walls. This grade sheet gives you all the dimensions of what the sizes have to be. I'm moving on. So I'm going to show you first on the drafting part, and I'll mention some of the measurements as we do it. So on the actual drafting, I'm going to call up, on the drafting, I'm going to show you first, actually I'm going to call up that grade sheet again. One of the things that this grade sheet is asking for, I'm going to put it right there, is that the base, that base down here, needs to be 3 inches by 3 inches. 3 inches by 3 inches. Up here, base, 3 inches, width 3, length 3/4 inch thick. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I'm trying to show you the point of this is what you need to be doing in the graph. I go ahead and I take my ruler on this one. It's very easy to see where it says on the ruler 0, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead, these grids right here on the paper that I give you, these grids are 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch wide, each one of these squares on the sheet. I should mention, in case you lose or for some reason don't get the grid paper I give you in class, then right here I give you this exact same sheet I've put online, and each one of those grids is 1/8 of an inch. That means for every single square, you count 8 of them, you now have an inch. 24 of them, you have 3 inches. I'm going to go back to the page with the actual, so I'm going back into grade sheet. There. I'm going to take, it says that my base has to be 3 inches by 3 inches, so that's 3 by 3. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get my ruler, 0 to 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do, line it up. You pick where you want your start point at, and then I'm just going to go ahead and go 0 to 3. And then I'm going to go spin it. I'm going to go 0 on the next line to 3. It's not supposed to take a long time. This should be somewhat quick, especially this part that we're doing. And then this segment right here, I'm going to put on 3. I'm going to line it up on the grid, and then I should be able to make the connection if I've done all my measurements correctly. I have. And there's my last one. I now have the base is now drawn. There's my base. Now it says on this that I should be able to put, but that exterior wall, all walls are 1/8 of an inch thick. All walls are 1/8 of an inch thick. So I can't just have, so from that point to that point is 3 inches, but I need to understand that this wall is 1/8 of an inch thick. So I'm going to go ahead and just go 1 square in, shade 1 square in. So we're trying to make this as accurate as possible, so then when we go to actually putting it in CAD, all we need to do is enter measurements. I'm doing this as fast as I can, but hopefully you understand what I am doing. And then there's that one. All I need to do now is, since each square is 1/8 of an inch thick, that's the wall. And all I need to do is with my pencil, hopefully you'll spend more time than I am. I'm just trying to make a point right now. I'm going to shade in that wall. Then I'm going to go ahead and start drawing my internal walls. And the internal walls, that's all designed by you as to where you want them. And I'm going to quickly, there, I'm almost done making my external walls. They're 1/8 of an inch thick. My internal walls will also be 1/8 of an inch thick. Now the base has to be 1/4 of an inch in height. That base has to be 1/4 of an inch in height. And that wall there, that internal and external walls, they have to be 1/4 of an inch height. So 1/8 of an inch wide by 1/4 of an inch high. And that's what is shown right there. Base is 1/4 of an inch high, wall is 1/4 of an inch high. So now I'm going to go ahead and start designing in. How about I put a wall, and I'm going to just do a couple of walls. How about I put one wall here, okay? And I'm going to put my F. I need to put an F on here where I want to finish. I need to put an S on here where I want it to start. I'm going to do a wall that comes off the start point, and again it has to be 1/8 of an inch thick. There, I'm going to connect it and I'm going to shade it. Remember, this shouldn't take you a long time. Here's my finish. My finish is going to be somewhere around here, and it needs to be 1/8 of an inch thick. Okay? And I'm going to shade it. Hopefully you get the point. Now I'm going to add a couple there. Matter of fact, I don't want it to be just regular like that. I want it to be more of an L. So I'm going to bring it down with my ruler. There we go. There, that's going to be nice, because now I can trap the person. And not only trap the person, I can go ahead and I'm going to put a circle there probably. Now I'm going to make a point. I'm going to add a circle right now. So, and the other thing I need 3 block walls. And the block walls keep people from just running the ball along the roll. So one block wall has to be on the start wall. One block wall has to be on the connecting off the start wall, and the third one has to be on. It doesn't have to be on the finish wall. So I have one there, I have one there, and now I need to add a block wall somewhere on this wall right here to stop people from just turning the maze sideways and just running it along the edge. So how about I add my block wall right here. So right now I already have 3 block walls, and again I need to make sure that I'm going to shade it. My walls have to be 1/8 of an inch. And it makes it easy because these squares are 1/8 of an inch. There's my block wall. Now, any walls, internal, external, external. So those 3 internal walls. They have to be a minimum of 1/4 of an inch away from a 1/4 of an inch away from a hole. According to right here, our holes are 3/8 of an inch by 3/8 of an inch. So that's 3 circles, or 3 squares. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. There's my 3/8 of an inch hole. I'm going to connect. There's my center. Whoops. I don't want that to fall asleep. And I'm going to use, that's too big. I'm going to use there. So 3/8, that's 3 1/8. There's my first hole, okay? Now that hole, it must always be at least 1/4 of an inch away from any internal hole or wall, but it can be right up against an external. I'm looking at this and I'm going, wait, I already made a mistake. That hole is not 1/4 of an inch away from that wall. That hole is 1/8 of an inch. It's 1 square away. Remember, each one of these squares is of 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to move this down. I'm going to erase it and move it down so that it starts 1/4 of an inch, because that's an internal wall. So the holes have to be 1/4 of an inch away from any internal wall. But they are allowed to touch the actual exterior walls. And that's right here. Holes 3/8 of an inch by 3/8 of an inch. There has to be 6 total. Must be at least 1/4 of an inch away from interior walls, but they can touch exterior walls. So I'm going to erase this, trying to make this point. So it's very easy for you, and you don't have to make any changes. Okay? So now all I have to do is I'm going to make my start point here. And now it goes 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. That's the other side of the circle. There's the side of the circle. 1, 2, 3, 1/8, 2/8, 3. So I'm going to say there. And now I'm going to go and make, that's as fast. Okay? Now that works. I have a 1/4 inch gap at the top away from an internal wall. Exterior, it's okay if it touches it. And I think you get the hang of it. How about this? I'm going to do one more. Here's an internal wall. Internal walls cannot be any closer than 1/4 of an inch from any other internal wall. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make, how about this? I'm going to make an error intentionally, okay? And here's my error. I make this wall, and when I made this wall right here was, ooh, it's perfect. I made it so it's 3/8 of an inch. 1, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 3 squares. So that's 3/8 of an inch. So that's fine. It's a big enough gap. It has to be a minimum of 1/4 inch away, and it's 3/8. So it's more than 1/4 of an inch away. That's okay. But if I take a circle and I put the circle there next to that wall, I can't do that. It has to be 1/4 of an inch away. So I'm going to go ahead and change my circle. And I'm going to move it 1/4, and that's going to be my start point. 1, 2, 3. It has to be 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, there. So 1/8 and a portion, 1/8 and a portion, and here's my new circle. Now this one works, and I'm going to shade this in. I'm now going to stop because I think I've explained everything that is necessary. Okay? I've made the errors intentionally so you can